Well, that wasn't too fun this past match against Oakland. I don't know about y'all, but I did not enjoy it. I really didn't. And now it's getting to that point where we have to start wondering, is it time to worry about this team? Or am I just overreacting to a couple of bad matches? We'll talk about that, plus much more. Let's get into this. Welcome to the Podcast of Champions. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. Hey, I'm your host, Ray Samora, and I'm here to take you through this journey as we discuss all things Orange County Soccer Club. I don't know how much of that you heard because my camera went blank for a second there. Hopefully you heard it all. Let's see who's helping me out for this episode. First off, we got Dylan. Dylan, how are we doing, my man?
I'm fine.
Simple and sweet from Dylan there. We could tell he's fine. Also helping me out this episode, we've got Mr. Brad. Brad, how are you doing?
I'm slightly less than fine.
Perfect. You can see this group is going to be full of excitement and full of energy tonight based on what we're seeing here. Hey, one other person helping us out, and this person got nice and looking good for this with the cup kit that only made one appearance on the pitch this season, unfortunately. But that's DK, one of our great writers. Welcome to the show, DK. How are you feeling?
Oof, I'm upset, but hanging in there.
So we got a fine, a slightly less than fine, and an upset. So we just went downhill on each of these introductions, and I get it. We're frustrated. We're upset. This team is not playing up to their potential, especially in the last three matches that I've seen. And I feel there's been more than that. It's just these are the three matches that have stung and hurt the most because they've been poor performances from Orange County. And as much with this last match against Oakland, as much as I love, you all know me, I love to talk trash or judge some bad calls from the refs on the field. We know that could happen here. In the end, it doesn't matter. OC didn't deserve a result based on the way they performed in the match against Oakland. And I mean, they got what they got from that. Dylan, I'm going to go to you first. I sort of just summed it up all right there. So I think we could just say end of the episode, right? But no, realistic or really, Dylan, what are your thoughts on that match?
I'm not really sure where to begin. I guess I'll work my way backwards. We've watched us score plenty of last-minute equalizers. We've watched us score plenty of last-minute winners in the past. It really hurts to be on the other end of it. And I'm disappointed about the result, but the thing that really winds me up about this is just we were so bad for 45 minutes. And I just don't understand what happened. And I also hope that Thomas Mon got some good dental work because, oh my God. I figured he'd been caught. I didn't realize it was going to be that bad. And they pops up and camera shows him just bleeding. I was like, oh, okay. So that's a Clint Dempsey versus Algeria there for you. Obviously, he was the perpetrator in that one. So not a great reference, but just pain. Is there a deep fried gnarly meme with a pain thing yet? Because all the other Anaheim and Orange County sports teams have deep fried memes about when things go poorly. And I think it might be time for us to make one just in case things get a little bit worse.
I do feel pretty bad there for Thomas Mong. I know I don't know what y'all are seeing there, but I know a lot of time when we see him sort of on the ground and staying on the ground, we're not too worried because he tends to do that at least a couple times a match. But in this instance, it was legit reason for him to be upset. And it almost looked like as he's getting up, I'm not trying to like poke fun or anything, but it looked like he was emotional about the whole situation. But I guess, Brad, you'd be emotional too if your tooth got knocked out in the middle of a soccer match, right?
I mean, 100%. That's kind of like a biggest fear, you have nightmares that you like wake up or you're like losing teeth and then you wake up and all your teeth are there. My analysis on this match, I think Dylan did a really good job of covering the last 45 minutes. I'm going to put one number out there, and I already said it. One shot on target. Not even on target, sorry. One shot, that entire second 45-minute frame. We talk about the struggles in that second half. And I don't even think it was Oakland played well against us. Because the idea of us lopping the ball down the field, it seemed at times, especially with the Mongan, there was nobody to do any hold up play. And there wasn't really any desire from the team, it looked like, to try playing out the midfield. Because any midfield passes that happened were getting intercepted. It just was a very, very tough second half to watch. And I know myself and everybody else in the Discords watching the game live were getting very irritated, and we kind of knew a second goal was coming for Oakland. And it really sucks seeing the way it happened at the end. Because while Orange County had one shot the second half, Oakland had 13. So one team wanted to win clearly a lot more. Kudos to the save off the line during a very hectic spell where Shuttler spills the beans.
But was it Shuttler's fault? It wasn't Shuttler's fault. His defender, was it Marcus Knockham, is like tapping the ball back to him while Shuttler's coming out at the ball. I think it was both of them. You can't just blame Shuttler for that one, Brad.
No, but at the end of the day, Shuttler's the guy who should have booted it a little. I know he was going down, but good clearance off the line I did not catch who it was. I have one bright side that second half. I know I've talked a lot, and that's Mr. Lee coming off the bench, Marcus Lee. I think for the 10 minutes he was on the pitch, he seemed to be the only one willing to try to provide a spark, trying to find open space. And I think that shot the second half belongs to him, and a yellow card. But, jitters coming in, 5 minutes left in the game. I'll give it to him there.
I want to know, that was a rather quick yellow card for him. I want to know, where that ranks as far as quickest yellow card in a debut match for a player like that. Maybe we can scour the internet for that and figure that out before the end of the episode. I'm going to go to DK, and I saw in here who invited DK. We invited DK because he had to go through the agony of rewatching this match to write up the recap. And props to you, DK, for writing a really good recap. Because I know I'm throwing Dylan out here, but Dylan's like, I'm glad I don't even want to read this to edit it or anything. I'm just so upset with this match. So props to you, DK, for a great recap on this match. And that's why we have here. So you had to suffer through this match multiple times. Did you see anything in your second watch through that you didn't notice the first time around?
Yeah, just to kind of reiterate that point, it was suffering again watching that game for a second time, and it got me upset and mad all over between the bad calls in the first half and a couple in the second half, and then just our abysmal performance in the second half. Brad already pointed it out, but the long ball approach that we've been doing just gave Oakland all the space and all the momentum to do everything that they wanted. They got to attack us consistently, and we had no shots on target throughout that entire half and tactic that we were going through. The one thing that stood out to me, especially watching it a second time, was that both of our shots on target, and probably the only 20 minutes towards the end of, mid end of the first half that looked good, is when we were actually passing the ball on the ground. Passing the ball through the midfield, getting it to the wings, making some smart switches, crossing the ball into the box, and taking some shots. And it got me thinking how have we been successful with the long ball approach versus just passing it on the ground, team play? And I went back and watched just all the highlights of all of our matches throughout the season so far. And I don't think we've produced one shot on target from a long ball, from a pass from our half into theirs. And it just begs the question, like, why do we keep doing it? It doesn't make any sense to me. We have a midfield that's really talented. You know, we have Kyle Scott, Sofyan Jafal, you know, Christian Sordo in there, Dunbar over there, Brian Olaski. You have Dogman on the wing, Owen Lamb on the wing. Like, there's so much skill on the pitch when we pass as a team. And it just frustrates me so much that for some reason we keep just hoofing it up, especially when Zubac comes on the pitch. That's something I've also noticed is whenever Zubac comes on the pitch, that's all they rely on is just hoofing it up. But the only times he's been involved in the play is when we get it to the, you know, touchline and then cross it in. So it just makes me confused and really, really hopeful that we change the plan of attack moving forward, that somebody understands that this is not working.
Let me ask you this question, Dylan. And this is sort of a bigger picture, not just in this specific match, but obviously Orange County is missing some players from the great run they had last year, either due to injuries or players moving on. What's the biggest impact right now that you're seeing over this last run of matches of who's missing or who's not being there is making the biggest impact and making Orange County struggle? Is it someone like a Kevin Partita, Dylan Powers, Milan Olaski? Which of those players, or is there someone else that I'm forgetting that if they were there, this is a different run and we're probably winning at least 2 of the 3 matches over the last few matches we've played?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing missing is anybody right now that's not following us on Instagram, TikTok. There's probably another one, Facebook in there, OCSC_soccercast. So if you're not already, go ahead and give it X, whatever that is. Oh, yeah, sorry. I lived in the past. Go ahead and give us a follow there. And you can visit our website and all of our written content at ocscpodcast.com. In terms of players and things that are missing, yeah, I have to go with Milan Olaski here because generally the defense has been pretty good. This was not an ideal performance from them, but if we look back at the XG, I think it was Oakland with like 3.2 XG and Orange County with 0.6. And it's not like Oakland didn't have 40 chances prior to scoring a 95th winner to make this happen. Hackshaw put like 4 of them over the bar. Our defense has been pretty good. The distribution has been the opposite of that. And good God, the finishing, non-existent. Getting that final ball into the box and trying to just put it in when it's not like a tap in from 3 yards has not been happening all season. And that's the part that is figured it out that is missing, because in the past it was just give the ball to, well, way back in the day, it was Eric Calvillo and have him find maybe Brian Olaski and then Ronaldo Damas. And then it was find Kyle Scott and he'll find Milan Olaski. But we have to figure it out. And it's deep enough in the season that we should be figuring it out. Because we've had an 18-year-old play center back for 2 months, and that's been actually great. And that's usually the issue when you have children stepping up in the back line. Well, he's an adult now, but you have young people stepping up in the back line and new defensive lines every single week. We have a midfielder playing left back, and that's actually going surprisingly well. We have to start actually scoring goals, and we have to actually start creating chances to score those goals.
Brad, I'm going to go to you similar, question with this, but also give your thoughts on that. I want to ask you, who's really to blame for that game winner for Oakland on Orange County side? Like, who would you look at and who would you say they were the ones that didn't play that properly?
Whoever gave such a clear opportunity for a cross off the throw in there. Time's running out. There's I think there was a minute. They were beyond the 4 minutes of stoppage in the second half. I think there was a minute given due to injury at the beginning of that stoppage time. And the Oakland player receives the ball and just is able to distribute it to a guy wide open in the middle of the box. I didn't see who was supposed to be marking. I really don't think it's relevant. But when you're that wide open, I get it. Players are tired. That was probably the easiest goal he's going to have all season. Just such a pristine spot there.
DK, in your mind with all of this, if you're part of this coaching staff, or if you're part of this, the game plan here for Orange County, What changes are you looking at potentially making to sort of fix what's going on? Based on what we know, there's a lot of these players probably aren't coming back. We don't know what Thomas Among's status is going to be, if he's going to miss a match or two while his tooth thing is being done. I don't even know how that works in sports. If you get a tooth knocked out, can you play quickly, or do you have to recover, or what happens with that? Obviously, Zubac is struggling to make an impact in the matches. What do we need to see going maybe in the next match to try and revitalize this? And I mean, we're still in third place in the West, so I mean, we're not in a bad spot. Although we're talking like this is the end of the world, the end of the season already. What do you think needs to be done to fix this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point just to bring up as well, that I have been trying to remind myself of, is that, based on early results that we've had throughout the season, is we are still in third. I think that's a little bit lucky than anything that we're so high up on the table. But at the same time, there's a ton of teams that are really, really close in points, have the same amount of points as us right now. So if we don't start winning games, then we're going to free fall down the table quickly. I think, watching these games, the biggest element that needs to change is obviously something we've already, beat to death, is the tactics. Just how we need to move the ball up the field. I think we have a really strong midfield, and we need to trust that midfield to pass the ball up into the final third. As far as like lineup goes, we all know that there's tons of injuries right now. We can use that as an excuse to say that's why we're losing, but that we don't know when those injuries are coming back. So we can't use that excuse all season long. We need to figure something out. And one of those elements might be playing the younger guys, the academy players that we have on the bench right now, and put them in earlier. Once we get into, both the Louisville game and this game, once you get into the 75th minute and on, everybody's exhausted. So throw in an 18-year-old, a 17-year-old, a 16-year-old, whatever it might be, somebody who's eager to prove themselves in that professional setting and with fresh and quick legs. We have Barjolo. We now have Lee. We have some midfield academy players on the bench too. So if we can get them on the pitch, give them 10 minutes of playing time rather than putting them in during added time, I think that can potentially make a difference. Give us a late winning goal and open up some space. So that's really the only things that I can think of right now. But obviously the most important is, looking at this team and reshaping the tactics on how we attack. And that's going to be the most crucial point.
And as you mentioned, DK, looking at the standings there for those watching the video feed of this, we're in third place, but we're only 4 points off of being out of the playoff picture. Las Vegas sitting with 11 points, Oakland sitting with 11 points. And we've all seen Vegas is dangerous this year. And we know now that Oakland can be dangerous, even though they've been struggling a little bit. So I'm not saying be comfortable with where we are on the table, because this is a really tight table right now. And 2 matches, we could be out of the playoff picture from 2 matches if we continue with the struggles. But to fix this and to sort of turn the table around, Orange County is going to be hosting a team that they just hosted in the Open Cup, and is one of the matches we've been talking about that they struggled. Loudoun United, who knocked Orange County out of the Open Cup and took away the ability to see more of those great kits that DK is wearing on the pitch. I would assume the club's not going to wear those outside of cup matches. So fresh off of a match with Loudoun, you don't typically have this with an Eastern Conference foe where you're playing 2 matches at home against them. Just happened this way with the cup. Dylan, based on what we saw against Loudoun in the cup, Orange County went with their strong lineup in that match, and they didn't fare well. What do they need to do, or what is your thoughts going into this match? I'm not even going to ask you what they need to do, because we know what they need to do. They need to connect more passes. They need to get the ball forward and not hoof it up the pitch, and they need to get some shots on target. It's pretty simple. That's what they've been struggling with on this. What are your thoughts heading into this match? It's not really a reverse fixture because it's a second match at home against them. So what are your thoughts?
I think this is the time that Orange County, let me rephrase this, the players that played on Saturday that will be playing again need to show that they care. And that feels really harsh to say, but in that 45 minutes, it just looked like we played down way below where we should be playing, and way below where even Monterey have been playing so far this season, and just gave the game to them. This is a chance for them to show, hey, you know what? This was a bad run of 3 matches, and we're going to turn it around. And we've learned from 2 weeks ago when we lost in the Open Cup, and we've learned from last week when we just threw away a match. That's the big thing for me. And I'm just going to segue into the score predictions here. 2-0 Orange County.
All right. Let me ask you this, Brad, because this is also a weird situation for Loudoun. They've got a Open Cup match tomorrow against LAFC in LA. Do we know? Does anyone here know? I'm not just going to say, Brad, do we know what Loudoun's plans are? Are they just going to maybe hang out in Southern California? It almost makes no sense for them to fly back to Virginia and then back out for a weekend match against us, right? I mean, I would assume they're probably just going to hang out in Southern California. Is that an advantage, a disadvantage, if that's the case, Brad?
I think it's an advantage. I see no reason why they wouldn't just stay. I know teams budget for travel. This one's probably one that I believe the Open Cup covers their long distance travel. But they would have to cover their travel if they were to fly back and back. I think they just save the money and only have to pay for flight one way and just spend it on hotels instead. However, we don't know what that's the actual truth that's going to happen. It's an advantage if they do a double travel. I think it's an advantage for Loudoun if they stay.
Here's what I'm going to say. Orange County fans, get on the phone, call all the local fields that you know of and say, do not let Loudoun rent the facility for the next few days so that they can't train for a few days heading into that Orange County match, right? Maybe that's a way we can help. DK, thoughts on all this? What are your thoughts of this Loudoun match? And how is Orange County going to fare in this match? And then we'll get a prediction from Brad. We'll go to the score prediction game and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is a very winnable match. But at the same time, I think the last time we played Loudoun was a winnable match. I actually think we looked the better team on the pitch. But unfortunately, we didn't get the result. Oakland was a winnable match, and we didn't look like the better team on the pitch. So this is the time that we bounce back. And I think it's a great opportunity for us to bounce back, to be at home, to, have this be, a revenge kind of game, give the players some motivation to say, hey, we need this victory. Because really, if we want to keep our place on the table, if we want to build some momentum going into the summer, we need to win this match. And luckily, we have 2 home games upon us in the next couple weeks. So hopefully that's a momentum that we can keep pushing through and hope for the best as fans.
All right. Anyone else have anything else they want to talk about? I think Brad.
Yeah, no. I know Andy, our producer, put a poll in the comment of it's time to A, panic, or B, trust the process. I'm not in panic yet, mostly because I trust Morten Carlson as a manager of this team a lot more to regain the confidence of the locker room than prior administrations. But with that said, it needs to start this week. We can't be looking at 2, 3, 4 games down the road when we need to be focusing on one at a time because we've been playing down to our opponents. Oakland is a team that was in stress all season, and yet we kind of played down to their level where we shouldn't be. We are a lot better team than this, and honestly, if I was in Coach Morten Carlson's shoes, I'd kind of blow up the roster a little. Not the defense, not our midfield pairing of Jafal and Kyle Scott. I think those 2 are crucial. But I'm thinking, maybe instead of starting Among and Sordo and even Olaski, try out a combination of Sordo, Bryce Jamison, Among / Zubak, whoever's healthiest going into the game, and start from there up top, because that last final third of the pitch is horrible. It's not gone to plan. We had one good opportunity this past weekend, and that was when Dogman, hopefully he's healthy, had a killer cross towards Among, and Among had the best header I think I've ever seen him do. But other than that one chance in 90 minutes, there was nothing for Orange County.
There was a struggle. It was definitely a struggle. I'm going to hand it off to you, Brad, really quick. Give us an update on how the prediction game is going, and then we'll give our official predictions for this match. I know Dylan already jumped in there, but go for it, Brad.
I mean, you're looking at pretty much everybody except for Julio and Taylor kept the same score as prior weeks because everyone thought it was going to go a lot better. Taylor got a point because she said it was going to be a 1-0 Orange County win, while it was a 2-1 loss. Julio thought it was going to be a 3-2 Orange County win, and it wasn't. So Julio gets a point. And I just realized I think one other person, I didn't give them a point. I think Hannah should have gotten a point for a 3-2 victory. So I'll have to fix that next week.
Awesome. Let's figure out our predictions. Dylan already gave his. He decided to just do it on his own way and create his own.
I'm a trendsetter. Don't worry about it.
So I'm going to go to you first, DK. What's your prediction for this match?
I'm going to go 1-0 Orange County. I think we can win this match. I hope that we can win this match, but I have been giving predictions of us scoring multiple goals each time, and our offense has let me down almost every time. So I don't have the faith in the offense as much. So I'm just going to go with a 1-0 win for Orange County.
What about you, Brad?
Until I can be proven wrong, I don't think we can keep more than one out of the net, and I don't think we can put more than one in the net. I'm going to replicate last Open Cup's game, 2-1 Loudon. I just think our midfield got outplayed in that game, and I don't see that changing.
All right. Well, I've already mentioned I'm in panic mode at this point, right? So we got to do this. Dylan, you know what's happening. I'm in panic mode. I got to do this.
You're always in panic mode. Both of you get out of this show. This is ridiculous.
5-0 Loudon will win this match. I'm trying to do the reverse mojo here, and we're going to get back on the winning side of things because of that prediction. I'm calling it right now. All right. Let's transition on to something, because I think we're all miserable talking about Orange County's last few performances, especially this weekend in Oakland. So we're going to bring in a gentleman to talk with us about what he's doing to help collaborate with Caroline Coalition and help spread the joy and the wonder that is known as Orange County. That's Kevin Hobby. He's from the County Project. Kevin, welcome to our show.
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me.
No, we're excited that you're here. And look at you're sporting some nifty Caroline Coalition gear there. Nice T-shirt. For those of you that don't know, Caroline Coalition is the supporters group for Orange County, and Kevin and the County Project have been helping with creating some merchandise for that. That looks nifty. I like it. Kevin, thanks for doing that. And share with us, like, how did you get involved with this? Like, how did this become a thing where you're working with Caroline Coalition and helping create some merch for them?
Man, it's a great story. Let me give you a little bit of a backstory on the County Project and what we're about. So the County Project is about telling the story of Orange County through art, community, fashion, and culture. And I believe back in 2021, I want to say, the County Line Coalition started following us, and I followed you guys back. I didn't even know about the Orange County Soccer Club prior to that. And I would always see the posts of the games and everything that was going down at the Champ. And then one day on my lunch break, when I was working at Vans over in Huntington Beach, I went over to Ham and Scram over in Westminster, and I ran into a CLC member by the name of Mikey that was wearing one of my county hoodies. And he's like, "Hey, I follow that brand on Instagram. They're really dope." I'm like, "Oh, thank you. I'm actually the owner of the company." He's like, "Dude, I'm with CLC. We follow you, and we want to invite you to a game. I was like, oh, for sure. I really didn't follow soccer too much prior to that, but ever since that, which was 2022, towards the beginning of the 2022 season after uh, OCSC won the league, I attended games and I've been a fan ever since. And you can catch me at most of the home games. And like now I'm full on into soccer. OCSC is my number one team, but I also follow the Euro leagues and a little bit of the Mexico leagues and like the World Cup, and like I'm all engaged with soccer, and it's all to thank the County Line Coalition. You guys got me hooked. You guys are the number one fan group in Orange County, hands down. Like I go to Angel games, I go to Ducks games. Like you guys, win or lose, most passionate fan group out here repping the county, and I just appreciate the culture that you guys provide. I appreciate the culture of the club altogether. Just showing love to Orange County, being out in the communities, all throughout the county. So I appreciate all of this.
So let me ask you, like, how did you get started with this, the county project? What inspired you? How did you get going with this this brand, and what made you decide to make this your thing?
Yeah, so I was raised in Brea. Brea, that's my hometown, and I've been living there for over 20 years. I went to school. I did a year of college out in Atlanta, and I wanted something to represent that I was from the OC, but I just wanted something that was unique and simple, and there wasn't anything on the market at the time. So I just came out with a concept for a hoodie for myself, which ended up being the logo that we have right now. And it was just going to be a one of one item for myself, but I showed a few friends back home and then a few friends at my college, and they really were fascinated with the concept, and they wanted items for themselves, and they gave me the recommendation of turning into a clothing brand. But I had no interest in like fashion before that. I didn't want to start a clothing brand, but the more I thought about it and the more I talked to people outside of Orange County and even California, there was a misunderstanding of what it's like here in Orange County. Now they watch Real Housewives of Orange County and the OC, and they think that everyone lives like that out here. So I saw an opportunity with starting this brand, showcasing the various cultures and the various lifestyles out here, and just like the different regions in Orange County. And I've had a lot of fun. I've met a lot of different people from different backgrounds, and then also being able to connect with the Orange County Soccer Club and be a part of the culture with that club. It's been amazing.
Great to see you, Kevin. And it's so awesome to hear about your story, and also just how you got involved with soccer, that, Orange County Soccer Club was your kind of stepping stone into the scene, which is amazing. And I'm sure Mikey and all the CLC members are stoked to hear that. I know exactly why we wanted to reach out to you, especially for this merch project, in regards of, wanting to just work with a local company like yourself that cares about the community. On the back of all of our merch says support local. That's always been kind of the mantra for CLC since we were founded. Support your local teams, support your local community, local talent. All of that has been really, really important to us and the club overall. So, when I believe it was Blaine or Carlos reached out to you in order to kind of get this merch project started, what drew you to wanting to do that and working with the CLC besides just in the stands, but in regards of actually creating some amazing shirts and hats and hoodies?
What had me really want to do this project with you guys was the passion that you guys have for the local team. Like, you summed it up best, like the shirts saying support local, like, is the reason why I come out to the games. Like, I have so much pride in us having a soccer team here in Orange County, and seeing it grow, like over the past couple seasons, just seeing how many people have started attending the games, and like me having friends and co-workers who have started going to games, and them loving the culture of the OC matches just has been great. And I just love the grittiness of the CLC. It reminds me of just myself, and just how like I approach business. Just leave it all on the stands, and put your blood, sweat, and tears into what you believe in. And it's just been awesome. It's just been awesome to work with everyone, like Carlos and you as well, Keith. It's just I really appreciate having like you guys back what we're about and repping us. You guys always have a flag out at the games, and I think it's deeper than just a soccer club. Like, we're representing our home. Like, the club is called Orange County Soccer Clubs. So like, our home is literally on the kits this year with the County Road kit. So I feel like it's just like deeper than just a soccer club.
That's so awesome to hear. Thank you so much, Kevin. And we appreciate you too for everything you're doing for us.
100% agree with DK. I'll ask my one quick question. You know, some of that stuff you have there, I really like the logo with the skull that's kind of like shaped like an orange and juice. And what does it take for us here at Orange and Black Soccer Cast to get in on this action and get something cool created?
You know, it's in the pipelines. We started off simple, but I've already shared some stuff with Carlos and Keith that I mocked up when they first reached out to me, and we're gonna have something hopefully towards the middle or the end of the season that's going to be special. And I would love to also include the Orange and Black Soccer Cast a part of what we do as well. We can get something cooked up as well.
Yeah, definitely 100% beats Teespring or any of your other competitors, which I will not name, and especially keeping business local.
Yeah, and it's all local. You're working with someone who's local, and it's just easier to communicate with somebody that you know than getting your t-shirts made. I don't even know where.
Kevin, one question about the brand, or I guess about you, but clothing wise, what's the favorite piece of merch that you've ever made?
Oh, that's a good question. Does it have to be clothing?
No, I'm all ears.
The Orange Grow bandanas. That is my favorite item uh, that we've ever made. Clothing wise, though, I will give you a clothing option. Uh, the landmarks, the landmarks design. That was something that I originally mocked up when I first started this back in 2017, and I didn't even realize that I had a concept back in 2017. I just remember like drawing it recently, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but I actually drew that back in 2017, and I wanted something to incorporate all like every region, every aspect of Orange County, north, south, east, and west, and just hit some of those like staple landmarks in Orange County, so everyone felt like they were included on this. And it, the feedback has been positive. Uh, Everybody loves the design, and I'm glad that we were able to make that finally bring the concept to life. We shout out to Leno, artist who's originally from Tustin, who came up with the concept. And fun fact, he actually told me that we need to include the Tustin air hanger on there a couple months before it caught fire and they had to tear one of them down. So, and that all happened before we officially released the collection. So it was a trip, but like we were able to take pictures down there and take pictures in front of the last tower, and then also the remnants of the tower that burned down, and just everything that went into that collection was beautiful, and it was fun working on.
All right, away from maybe the brand and the county project, you as Kevin, you mentioned ham and scram already, but what's your favorite spot for food in Orange County?
Ooh, depends on the mood, but La Mama Lona, which is a food truck based in Santa Ana. I love everything on their menu, but they're known for their birria, and it's really good. I recommend their queso tacos if you're ever in the area.
Okay. What's your favorite city in Orange County?
Oh, that's a tough question, Dylan. That's a tough one.
Oh man, I love every city for like their own separate reasons. Ah man, I hope nobody feels slighted. I want to go with orange. I want to go with orange. Yes.
Ooh.
I got a question for everyone on the panel. I would love to know what cities you guys reside in, and what cities, if you guys are not living in the cities that you grew up in Orange County, where you guys are living right now.
I can't wait to hear Brad's answer on this one.
Yeah, I'll go, let me go first. I currently reside nowhere near Orange County. I'm a 5-hour drive away in Las Vegas, Nevada. I have never resided in Orange County, and the only time I ever resided in the state of California, I couldn't have wait to escape, so I moved up to Reno, became a Reno 1868 fan after they folded. Long story short, I'm now an Orange County fan because, I love the USL, and Orange County really fit a similar mold as a fan supporting group that my prior team, which does not exist anymore, fulfilled.
Yeah, just so you know, Kevin, we when Brad lost his team, Dylan and I and our former co-host Alan, we all agreed, let's invite Brad to join us. He's a great guy. He actually chauffeured Dylan and I around Reno when we made a day trip up there for a match. So Brad's a great guy, and he's been a great support of this club. So thus, yeah, he's not local, but he loves Orange County as a soccer.
That's what's up, Brad. We need all the love and support, and we can get. And having some love out in Reno is major. Have you ever visited the OC?
Oh, of course I have. I usually try to make it down to a game or two a year.
What's your favorite city?
I'm just gonna go and say Irvine as the most generic answer I could have given. I'm not familiar enough with the area to really give a fulfilled answer.
Hey, Brad, the last time you were down, where did you stay? What city?
Ray, you know I don't know where you live. Antelope Valley? All the way out in the middle of nowhere? Inland Empire?
Oh, I'll give you my answer to this question that you asked, Kevin. So here's my Orange County story. I was born in Los Alamitos. I was raised as a youth in Cypress, moved to Buena Park as a teenager. When I got married, I moved to Santa Ana, then moved back to Buena Park, and now live in Aliso Viejo, California. And I work in Irvine at UC Irvine. So I've been all around the county.
That's Orange County right there. That's Orange County right there. Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite city? And oh man, it's going to be a tough one because you've lived in quite a handful of cities.
So I have two favorites, and they're for various reasons. The first one is Cypress. Just that's where my youth was up until about the age of 12. So all my childhood, that's what I remember, Cypress. And then now as a parent, I love where I live currently, which is Aliso Viejo. And that's just because my kids love it here. And we've made a lot of great friends in this area. And yeah, so that's what I'll just say. But all the cities that I've lived in I've had great experiences and great memories in all of the cities that we've lived in or that I've lived in Orange County.
Yeah, I can agree with that. My grandmother used to live in Aliso Viejo, so that's one of those cities that holds a place near and dear in my heart because, like you said about Cypress, my childhood consisted of trips down to Aliso Viejo. So great city to reside in for sure.
DK, we need to know what DK's journey.
So I was raised in Placentia.
Hey, neighbor.
Yeah, right, exactly. Spent a ton of time in Brea, Fullerton, Yorba Linda, Anaheim. I moved out to Anaheim for a little bit in my early 20s. And then now I live in Huntington Beach, which the weather's great, the town's whatever. But I would say my favorite cities, I would have to agree. I love Orange. I just have a ton of memories there, especially down in the circle. And I also love like Newport Beach area. Mainly just because so many memories growing up as a kid over in that area. So two great areas, love the county, support local.
And I'm excited to hear Dylan's answer, and I want to make sure he explains and shares like how much he loves Orange County.
Yeah. I hate doing this. I love that, Kevin, that you turned this into you're interviewing us, but
he's auditioning. He wants to be a host on our show. That's what he's
going to replace you.
I have some podcasting skills, and we have a podcast that's on pause right now, but we started it and it's just been on pause. But I love podcasts. I love hopping on and just chopping it up. So I'm sorry if I hijacked the podcast.
That's why you're here, Kevin. So we can't even be upset. I was born in Tustin, so I'm covered up by the G. on in Hogue on this year's kit. Lived in Santa Ana for a bit, and now I live in the inferior citrus growing place, Sacramento. So, next time you have a drink, go ahead and pour one out for me. Say your prayers or whatever. Enough about me. I swear. A couple more questions before we're out of time, and they're once again all about you. What's your favorite non-food spot in Orange County? And it doesn't have to be a secret. Don't ruin any secret spots.
Non-food spot. When I have time to skateboard, it'll be the skate park. I love. Favorite park is a park in Tustin Legacy, which is a newer park. 2020 was when it opened, right? And during the middle of the pandemic, which was great because needed to get out and have some exercise. So that's one of my favorite spots. And then I also love Laguna Beach. I don't have a favorite part of Laguna Beach. Like, I love it all. Thousand Steps, Victoria, all of that. Trying to think where else. I like Salt Creek Beach. It's pretty calm over there. And then Peters Canyon. I like hiking. I love going on hikes. So Peters Canyon is another nice spot out here. But yeah, there's a little bit of something for everyone. But those are my favorite spots.
All right.
And then I also love the spot that I'm at right now. I'm in what's going to be our studio / store on 4th Street in Santa Ana, downtown Santa Ana, for those who might not know. And it's great. It's especially on the weekends, there's always something going on. There was just a flea market that I was a part of last Saturday, and there's a lot of good food spots down here as well. A handful of food spots. I could go on about that, but we might have to save that for another episode.
Probably. Our producer is kicking us through. I think I'm going to beat Ray to the punch and just go ahead and ask, what music have you been obsessed with lately? If you open up your phone, what's playing? What's the first stuff?
No, I'm changing this, Dylan. I'm vetoing your question. All right.
Well, make it fast.
This is a quick question for you. So Dylan likes to sing. When we go karaoke, Dylan sings about being on a boat. I sing about problems. What would be your karaoke go-to song?
Wishing on a Star by Rose Voice. That's my go-to.
Oh, you're not doing like a remake where like Jay-Z throws his rap over. You're going to the original. I love it.
One of my favorite rappers, his name is Larry June. He's from the Bay Area, and he has like a knack for orange. He loves orange, and he does shout out Orange County a couple times in his music. He shouts out Costa Mesa, Anaheim, and all of that, but he's from the Bay. But his number one song is called Smoothies in 1991. And it samples that song. But I love that song even before I found out about Larry's remix. But that is like hands down my go-to song when it comes to karaoke.
All right, Kevin, give us the first like 3 or 4 words of that song. Let's hear it.
Oh, you want me to sing?
You can't ask me to sing. Come on.
No. I'm messing, Kevin. You don't got the music behind you. You don't have to do it.
I sing it like throughout the day, so like I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'm wishing on a star.
There we go.
And I'm wishing on a dream.
He's got it, folks.
I love that song. Something about just like that old school just disco music.
Rolls Royce is awesome, man. I love Rolls Royce. My favorite song of theirs, though, is "I Want to Get Next to You." That was my favorite song from Rolls Royce.
That's another good one.
Let's do this, Kevin, because we're running out of time. Give a quick bit of information to those that want to find out more about the county project, want to find out more about you. Where do they go on the webs, on social medias? Shout it out right now.
Yes.
Shout it out.
Follow us on Instagram and TikTok. I really be on Instagram more at the county.project. I'll repeat that, at the county.project. You can find us on the web, the World Wide Web, at thecountyproject.com. If you're looking to pick up your CLC merch, we have that. We got the hats, hoodies, shirts, all of that over there. We'll be at this upcoming match on Saturday. We'll be tailgating with the CLC. We'll be there around 5 before kickoff, and we'll have the product, the collection there as well. I recommend, if you want to make sure that your stuff is secured, order on thecountyproject.com and select pickup as an option, and we will have your stuff ready for you, and it'll be secure because we only have a limited amount available for this week's match, and then we're gonna be printing some more, and we hope to have some more merch ready by next week. But if you want to make sure that you have your stuff, hit us up at thecountyproject.com.
Awesome. Thank you. Once again, everyone, that's Kevin Hobby from the County Project, collaborating with Countyland Coalition for some great merchandise there. Pick some up and make sure you stop by and check them out at the matches as well. Thank you, Kevin, for taking some time to speak with us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kevin.
Yeah, hey, one of the things we've always been big on since the beginning of this podcast is supporting local, and that's what we always try and do with this. Let's get things wrapped up because we're running low on time. Quickly, you don't need to explain it too much, but what did we learn in this episode? I'm going to go to you first, Dylan.
Kevin's got pipes.
There we go. DK.
Great food truck over in Santa Ana. Forget the name, but I'll have to go back and get that.
Yeah, the great thing is this is a podcast. You can go back and re-listen to it. And it's not as
I'm always down
torturous.
for food trucks, so
It's not as torturous as rewatching the Orange County versus Oakland match this past weekend. So you'll enjoy it a lot more. Brad, what did you learn?
I learned that in order to get the same amount of fiber that you need from a medium orange, you'll need to eat about 7 cups of cornflakes.
Oh, right. Now that is like a random thought there. Unfortunately, we don't do random thoughts much anymore. Hey, what did I learn? There's actually someone else in Orange County that has heard of Rolls Royce and likes the song by them. Kevin, thank you for singing a little bit for us. That was awesome. Yeah, that does it. Man, I want to thank you all. I want to thank all the people that listen to the show, either listening live, listening in podcast form. We appreciate the support. Make sure you like episodes that you listen to. Make sure you follow us on social media. Follow us on whatever podcast platform you listen to. I prefer Spotify, but you can go wherever you want to listen to the podcast. Just make sure you give us a like on the episodes, rate us, do whatever you can do to help get our message across. Also, my co-hosts, DK, Dylan, Brad, myself, producer Andy, and I want to thank again our guest from the. See, I'm already
from the county project.
The county
Kevin,
project.
Hobby.
It's fairly
I
easy.
know.
Man.
I was gonna do it. I just got in like this blank state of my mind for 5 seconds there. Yeah, from the county project. Kevin Hobby, thanks for joining us on this episode. Hey, this has been a great episode. I want to thank y'all. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. We're out.